This is the nasty woman who harassed Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen. You won't believe where she works. By Adam Casalino, U.S. News for MadWorldNews.com. News spread after a group of protesters cursed out and verbally attacked Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen while at a restaurant. Now we are discovering the identity of one of those protesters. As you can imagine, she's a socialist. But you won't believe who she works for. It's a trend that's grown since the election of Donald Trump. Bitter, powerless liberals take to the streets to air their grievances. I guess they believe if they can't be happy, no one can. From pointless marches to random acts of violence, left-wing activists, most of whom are under the age of 30, have made living in America hell. Some of them actually believe their constant bickering is going to change something. They don't realize that the more they lash out like spoiled, hateful children, the more regular Americans are turned away. These brats have been painting the Democratic Party as a group of un-American, vengeful villains. When things don't go their way, they throw a tantrum. Remind me of why we should put you guys in charge again. This week, a few more entitled ignorant liberals put on a spectacle in D.C. when Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen dined out at a Mexican restaurant. A group of young protesters accosted her. They cursed at her, accused her of many things. Basically, they exposed themselves as petulant idiots. It's not a big surprise that they were self-described socialists. You'd have to be a socialist to act this stupid. None of these people cared about illegal immigrants when Obama mistreated them. None of them cared when Democrats refused to overturn the very policy they are now protesting, even though they had 20 years to do so. But that's socialists for you, young, soft-brained people who base their opinions on CNN articles and emotion, not facts and logic. We now know one of those hecklers was Allison Hrabar. She's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. But she works for a well-known government agency. Which one? Oh, you're gonna love this. One of the socialist protesters who accosted Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen on Tuesday at a Mexican restaurant has been exposed as a Department of Justice employee. Allison Hrabar, whatever her name is, a member of the Democratic Socialists of America who attended the protest against Nielsen over the controversial border law enforcement, was revealed to be a paralegal specialist at the DOJ, the Washington Examiner reported. It feels really good to confront people who are actually responsible, which is what we have a unique opportunity to do in D.C., the DOJ worker told the outlet, source Fox News. So, an un-American, unpatriotic, self-proclaimed socialist works in Jeff Sessions' Justice Department? That is very comforting. The group responsible for prosecuting criminals, including illegal aliens, is enlisting the help of socialists who attack government officials in their off hours? There's something very wrong with D.C., you think? This is why Americans voted for Trump. They are sick of weirdos and elitists ruining our country. These people swarm D.C. like the leeches that they are, infiltrating our most important government agencies. Their true motives come through in acts like this. How can we trust Hrabar, or whatever her name is, isn't letting her obvious bias get in the way of her job? You think? Socialism is a cancer, my friends. It warps the brain of the person dumb enough to embrace it. They don't care about the truth, justice, or the traditions of our country. In fact, socialists want to transform the United States into a dictatorship, not unlike Venezuela or the former Soviet Union. Do you really want someone like that working at the DOJ? Of course, Harbar, whatever her name, again, ironically hides behind the First Amendment. Harbar wasn't bothered by her association with the DOJ, citing her protected First Amendment rights to protect anyone outside her work hours. She went on to encourage people to confront officials in public places. If you see these people in public, you should remind them that they shouldn't have peace, she said. We aren't the only ones who can do this. Anyone who sees Christian Neilsen at dinner, anyone who sees anyone who works at DHS and ICE at dinner can confront them like this, and that's what we hope this will inspire people to do. Source: Fox News. Let me mansplain something to you, Harbar. The First Amendment only exists because this is a free country. The socialist paradise you're yearning for, it will eradicate rights like the freedom of speech or the right to peacefully protest. Socialism destroys countries, it destroys human rights, but keep hiding behind the rights our forefathers died to give you. But it looks like she might not be able to get away with her milquetoast rebellion for much longer. Wasn't expecting that. But according to the Daily Caller, Harbar has made a habit of using social media to send political messages during her work hours, including celebrating the protest. Keeping families together in jail is not an acceptable solution, she wrote on Twitter on Wednesday afternoon. So what do you suggest we do with them, Harbar here? In another tweet, she reportedly wrote, no one who has ever made their living terrorizing immigrants deserves peace. Really? Let's ship her back over the border. If you see one in a restaurant or at a movie or in your neighborhood, remind them of that. Source: Fox News. Terrorizing immigrants, Harbar? Do you mean the drug cartels and human traffickers that smuggle them into the United States and keep them enslaved? Or the Democrats who keep illegals scared, poor, and dependent on the government? Yeah, something tells me you're about to have a few bad days of your own. You know, she should be fired immediately. Immediately, on the spot, she should be taken out of her job. This is the kind of lunacy that plagues our country today. But, you know, you can't really blame them. They've indoctrinated these kids from school, you see? This has been going on for a long while now. Very long while. So it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. And these people work in government, just like the idiots that the Democrats like Cummings and Sheila Jackson there, or Lee, or whatever her name is, those two morons. Real disgusting, you know. And I was watching a post about her ring, the symbolism on that ring that she was wearing. You know, I don't really believe all these Q posts, but you know, there are certain things that like sort of ring a bell, like you're saying, hey, what is that? What is that? That ring that she was wearing and that symbolism? You know, real scary and actually incriminating her, you know? And that Cummings, that other shill that's up there, you know. And I said about Sheila Jackson, to me, she doesn't seem like she should be working behind a counter at McDonald's, you know. Yet they've infiltrated this government. They've infiltrated it. I'm telling you, the nut job. It's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take to clean that house out, you know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.